We are now live, everybody. This is the Red Sea Down Under, and this is our debut show. For those who know us previously as the LFC Couch, we have come back from the dead as Red Sea Down Under. We've partnered with the lads at Red Sea, and we're really excited about it. This is our first live show. I don't know where the camera is. There he is. G'day, mate. How you going?
You don't know where the camera is. Look at you.
Thank you. I wanted to say, of all the people not to know where the camera is, George would not be one of them.
But yeah, this is our first live show. We were usually doing a podcast over the audio platforms and media, but now we're doing these lives. We're really excited about it. We've got the old team, the old crew back together. We've got Pete Kafinas. How you going, Pete?
Very well. Actually, this is our first foursome in a long time. This is good.
The awesome foursome. I feel like have the Aussies won anything in the Olympics with the rowing?
I don't know about the rowing, but we've won a few things.
We've won a lot of medals. We've got Nick Koloski. How you going, mate?
I feel good. I feel like SPC fruit all of a sudden since you mentioned awesome foursome now with the Olympics.
Yeah, we've got our Aussie contingents will know the SPC. What is it? The little fruit cups.
That's right. Yeah, the awesome foursome were the big proponents for pushing that fruit cuppy many years ago. But yeah, I'm good. Hopefully you boys are well as well.
Great, and I love that picture in the back there. This is Anfield. Beautiful.
Got to represent.
Amazing. And we've got Steve Wilding. How you going, Steve?
I'm good, but I haven't got a clue what you lot are on about with your SPCs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, we've got the resident.
Hang on, you're not meant to be here. This is an Australian show. Get off.
Honorary Aussie.
Show, well, what's really cool is tonight. I mean, we're hopefully it's this is basically just like an intro show to us, reintroducing you guys to us. For those who know us from the LFC Couch, hello again. I feel like Jurgen Klopp when I do that. Hello to you. Yes, you're welcome. But yeah, for those who don't know us, g'day. We'll be doing some podcasts for the Red Sea podcast, or some live shows rather. And yeah, we're kind of an Aussie contingent, and this is just a debut show, just introducing ourselves, and we're just going to chat about things that have been going on with LFC in the past few weeks. We're all excited about the season starting. What is it? A couple of weeks, Pete?
2 weeks.
Pete tattoos it on his arm, like he's got like the check marks of like when the season's going to start. Can you check the tattoo, Pete? When is it starting?
August 14th.
By the way, Pete has a tattoo of Steven Gerrard's signature. Rumor has it Gerrard himself etched it with a tattoo pen. Where is it, Pete? On your leg, your ankle?
Yeah, I'm not going to stand up and take my pants off for you, but that's maybe off air. We'll do that.
They're already off. We already. You're doing a classic Zoom sesh.
Pants are always off.
You wear business clothes up here, and then naked down the bottom.
Yeah, well, don't tell everyone my secrets, please.
I wanted to get started about just basically what you guys thought about preseason. I'll start with you, Nick, because Pete, that was your contribution, mate. Just about what you were wearing below the waist and your tattoos. That's all I wanted to hear from you, man. But Nick, I just wanted to hear. Sorry to put you on the spot, by the way. I just wanted to see what you thought about our preseason so far. It's been. Everyone's been smiling, like despite the fact we've had some, dull results to say the least. But it's all about training. And Klopp looks tan. He looks healthy. Everyone looks, like they're refreshed. I guess that's the main thing. Do results matter too much if everybody's in such a good mood?
I mean, preseason is such a very odd thing to really judge because you can say, well, we've had a great preseason, and then you're out of the race by October, you know what I mean? So you can't really account for that. We've seen other teams as well. They've had some big results in friendlies when it comes to preseason games just to blood in, or I hate using the term, Peter will probably agree with this, but gel the team together and make sure everything flows and works. And that's what your preseason games are for. So we had a couple of half matches or something the other week. And then we had some would say exciting 4-3 defeat though to Hertha Berlin just the other day when we saw more players come together, but we saw some players look sharp, look fit, look healthy. As you said, not just the manager, players coming in and probably trying to stake a claim to start or be in the squad for match day one going throughout the season. And it's nice to see Salah, Mane, Tacky's back again. I know Pete's going to be very happy about that, and you can also see maybe Nabby as well had a bit of a shine, but we'll see how that one pans out for the rest of the season, because we know how Nabby can be. But our Brazilian lads are now back from the Copa. I think they're starting training on Monday, which is today for us, probably tomorrow for them, and hopefully within 2 weeks you will see everyone sort of like come back into the fray and actually start to see the team that we're used to seeing, because of course Van Dijk and Gomez played their first 20 minutes of, some will say, professional football for Van Dijk over a year almost, and for Gomez as well, not long behind Van Dijk. So nice to see players coming back, and at this point it's just to really see them just progressing and seeing how they go, that they don't have any issues, and that everyone is all tip top.
Yeah, absolutely. I think that's probably the main thing that we want, is we just want everyone to, because Klopp loves his training. I mean, it's kind of a cop out to say this. It's like a top red comment, but Jurgen Klopp truly does see his training as new signings. He discovers new things on the pitch, and that's where he makes a lot of his changes. I just wanted to say g'day to Colin Foy. Hey lads, how's it going?
Very well, thank you. How are you?
Very well. We're really excited. Yeah, tell us how you are, mate. I also like here, we've got someone saying, give these guys a like and subscribe to the YouTube channel, please. Yeah, subscribe to the Red Sea podcast on YouTube. I'm sure that's where, majority of people are watching. We are putting this on the Twitter as well. So, 2 places for the price of 1. And the price is free. Look at that.
Like Liverpool signings at the moment. That's what we're going for, the frees.
Going for the
cheap labor.
But yeah, Steve, is there anyone, I mean, going off what Nick has just said there, is there anyone that's caught your eye? We did mention a bit there of a Minamino, and as I say that, Pete's hair has, his ears have pricked up. I said his hair because his hair is always fantastic. It's always fabulous. But has anyone else caught your eye as we've been watching these preseason games?
A couple of players have. Simicast is one of them. He's looked half decent after not really looking that impressive last season. Didn't really get many opportunities. He's looked good. And the normal people like Minamino's look really impressive. And then there's a big thing. Is Mane going to come back into this season in sort of impressive form? Because last season he had a bit of a poor season. But for me, the main one, Simicast, has started really well, which I think we need, because Robbo can't play every game going forward. So it'll be interesting to see if he gets more opportunities. And then Minamino, he looked pretty good. And I know, like Nick just said, Pete's going to probably talk about him a bit more. But they're the main 2. And then we've had a couple of the youngsters who look half decent as well.
It's interesting. Yeah, you say Minamino. There was something, I want to throw this one at you, Pete, because there were very interesting performances, and I do want to go on to, first I just want to give a shout out here to StyleTix. I think I know. I think that sounds like Styles, perhaps Styles. Is that Styles, Pete? Do you remember Styles? Anyway, lovely to see you guys back. So must be a fan of the LFC Couch. So g'day. Good to see you as well. Virtually through the power of the technology. But Pete, I want to throw this one at you because it was very interesting. We want to go into a chat. We'll talk about Tsimikas because I know you're raring to go. You're gonna sing the Greek national anthem right now. Is it Opsi or Gopsi first, Pete?
Opsi.
Opsi, bravo. But I just wanted to, because we mentioned Minamino, there's that thing about the false 9 about who's going to be playing in the center forward role. And I feel like I'll throw this one at you first, Pete, and then if there's a general discussion about what you thought about, because there's 2 halves, 2 strikers playing, and they felt very similar to me. They start really strong, and I might be wrong here. They started really strong, and then they kind of fade, then they score a goal. So it's kind of like just when you think that it's a little bit maybe underwhelming, they do the thing that the striker's supposed to do and score a goal. So, yeah. Pete, what did you make of Oxlade first half, Tacky second half?
So you're talking about the Hertha game, yeah?
Yeah, let's go for the Hertha game, yeah.
All right, so I think, look, with Ox, I feel like he tries too hard to be the false 9. I think sometimes you see him pick up the ball at the edge of the box and he's trying to do too much sometimes, where I feel like with Ox, he's read instructions of what he has to do and he's just trying to do a checklist. Drop in, receive, do that, try to do this. And then it doesn't feel like it's natural for him. I feel like he naturally just wants to be in the middle of the park and spray the passes out wide and get involved, take his shots, run box to box, be dynamic, third man runs, all that kind of stuff that we've known him to be very good at. Because I do think Ox is a good player. I hope to God I'm wrong because I can't see us bringing anyone in, but I hope that Minamino gets more of a chance in that false nine role. I don't think Ox for me will be a good one in terms of a false nine.
There's something that Ox has over Minamino, which feels like strength, and he has a strike on him. Is there something to say about the fact that maybe if Chamberlain can sort out the other parts of his game? I'll open this up to anybody who wants to, weigh in on it. We do want to get players who can shoot. It would be it would be handy to have an Oxlade-Chamberlain in and around the box being able to shoot. The thing is, we're not seeing him shoot there. That left foot strike, by the way, against, was it Palace? That's an example of what he can kind of do.
Yeah, and we saw him score a thunderbolt kind of shot in the game where he scores our third goal. But I think Ox, for me, because to play that false nine role, you have to be tactically aware. And I think Minamino tactically is better than Ox, whereas Ox has more physical attributes, and I think he's better physically. I do agree, he's quicker, stronger, all that kind of stuff there that you've mentioned. But I think, what was the number one thing about Firmino when he plays that role? It's not it's not speed or strength. It's the positions he finds. Yeah, it's the position he finds, how he picks up on the press, because he's our first defender every single time. And I noticed that Minamino in that game, going back to George's question, was actually very good in picking the moments when to press. He received the trigger moments really, really well and pressed really well. I felt that he blocked a lot of the passes going central, and I felt that he tactically was much better than Oxlade. And I felt that the way he linked with Salah was actually really good to watch as well.
Yeah, Salah has a habit of linking well with technically gifted players. We see that with Naby Keita when he plays on the right. I think when Thiago started playing on the right, he was linking up well with Salah. And I feel like Minamino and Salah have done that in the past as well. It's good to see it. That is Styles. So good to see you again, mate. What do you think about Oxlade versus Minamino? Give us a shout as to which one you think is the better false nine as backup. I actually also, if you guys do want to have a weigh in again on Ox and Minamino, let me know. Otherwise, do you guys think we need someone else up in the front three? Nick, I'll throw that one at you.
Front three. It's hard to really see anyone else fitting into that front three besides Taki, because as Pete said, he's probably the better option out of the other quote unquote, frontline players or the forward midfielders, if that's even a thing. I might be talking nonsense. But when you see you've tried Oxlade on one side or you've tried Origi on the other side and things like that, it just doesn't seem to work as well. Whereas Taki, you saw last season before he went on loan, he was trying to be made into this sort of player that could probably squeeze in between somewhere or play behind the false nine or even play a false nine role. So he's probably going to be the player to roam in and out. We don't have anyone else that can play that role. Shaq maybe tried to do it, but even now he probably won't even be a Liverpool player come the start of the season. Rumors that he may be going to the Serie A or something like that. So we don't really have many others to replace, which goes to maybe another point where maybe we do need one more forward player specifically to play in a number 9 role. Perhaps maybe that could be a transfer question.
So you think would you go into the transfer market and get someone for the front three? And what would you get? Would you get like a versatile winger, or would you get a striker?
That's a good question. I mean, we've seen Firmino last season probably drop off with the goals. We saw our front three drop off with the goals, really. But we know how good he can be when he finds his rhythm and he finds his groove. The only thing is, though, do we allow him to just go about his business and let others pick up the slack, perhaps? Or do we actually look at getting a player who can play direct football? Ball goes out wide, crosses in, header or something, or a tap in, something like a Harry Kane or one of those types of players who just, attacks the ball and they're having to score a goal every single time. Plan B.
Who is realistically available that we could go out and get, though, to fulfill those roles?
That's the question.
In terms of realistic, again, I'm not going to start making rumors or all that kind of stuff because, whatever. But realistic is that because I know that Inter Milan are trying to sell players. So that Lautaro Martinez apparently is for sale with the right price. But knowing us, price, we're looking for about $30, $40, and then we'll go for you. So it's like he's realistically he is a target, but unrealistic because he's probably going to cost 40 mil.
Because aren't we being linked with Jared Bowen from West Ham?
Yeah, well, I might as well play. Yeah,
you might do the job.
So the thing about Bowen, the thing I don't mind about Bowen is that he looks technically sharp. He can play in any of the. He can play in the front three. He can play in the midfield three. He's left-footed, which kind of it's side by side with something we'll bring up very shortly, which is going to be Saul in terms of players that we want in there. But also we've got Harvey Elliott, who's kind of that similar-ish player. So it's kind of Bowen kind of feels like to me, if Elliott doesn't look like he's ready, and Klopp can probably tell. I don't know, Pete, I might throw that one at you, by the way. But before I do, if Elliott isn't ready, maybe Bowen is kind of like, because they're kind of similar. They're short, quick off the mark, more known for their technical ability. But I wouldn't be against it, mainly because he is also English. We're struggling with that English quota at the moment. But it's actually a good segue. I want to ask you, Pete, as we're talking about Bowen, can you tell from training in these 4 weeks whether a player is ready for the Premier League or not? In this instance, someone like Harvey Elliott.
I think you can tell by how much attention he's getting from the media, in terms of from the LFC TV media, and how he's actually already had 3 or 4 interviews already. So clearly they're building him up to kind of maybe suggest that he's going to be part of the first team this year. I wouldn't be surprised if he is part of the first team this year. I mean, last year you saw his season with Blackburn, and he was phenomenal. And it's something that it's in preseason videos, they make him all look like they're unbelievable. So it's quite hard to say, yep, you can tell from LFC TV that he looks ready. But I think Klopp brought him back, and I think he's having his proper preseason with the first team, because I feel like Klopp does think he can do a job at some point this season. Maybe not the first half of the season, but maybe towards the second half of the season. I think that Harvey Elliott is definitely someone that you will see probably play for our first team. But the thing is, if Jared Bowen is all those things, as you said, then why not give Oxlade the chance? Do you know what I mean? So there's no point bringing someone in and paying for someone that we've got players there that can do the exact same role that he can do.
That's all. Yeah, very good points. I think the one thing that you mentioned there that it's I think it could be glossed over sometimes. I think that I'm at fault for glossing over this. How old is Elliot, by the way? Is he 17 or 18?
18.
He's just turned 18. Like the stuff he's doing in the games right now at this stage, brand new to the team, has barely played with them. He's keeping the ball. He's not losing it. He's getting past a player every now and then, and he's creating some half chances. That's crazy for someone who's just turned 18, and essentially an academy product. We're kind of judging him as a 23-year-old essentially. He's essentially an academy player. So it's Styles has actually told us here. Have you guys ever heard of Lautaro? Anyone? Pete?
Yeah.
Martinez, yeah.
Martinez, yeah.
That's Martinez. Has always been my ideal Bobby replacement, technical high work rate, top player. Anyone thoughts on is it Lautaro Martinez or Martinez? Which way does it go?
No, it's Lautaro Martinez, yeah.
I know. Pete, what do you think of that phrasing, that the word Bobby replacement?
No, he means in 5 years Bobby's ready to leave us. That's what he means.
By the way, Bobby
I just wanted to throw it in there.
Bobby watches my TV show, so I mean, if there's ever been a moment where I want him to stay at Liverpool for even longer now, I've got selfish reasons that I want him to stay at the club.
100%. We love Bobby. We all love Bobby.
I'm going to send him DVDs. I'm going to send him free DVDs. He'll
I do
retire
agree, though. I do agree with him. He does that role. He loves the link. He connects well with 10s. He does late runs in behind, similar to Firmino. He's a great little jack-in-the-box kind of player that we've used before in our shows. So, I think he's a good replacement when Bobby's ready to stop playing for us. Yeah,
when he's ready.
Yeah.
And then just what we were echoing before, Harvey in the 8. I think we've talked about that in our little private chats. Steve, I think we agreed on maybe that point at one stage about Harvey being in that midfield 3, perhaps even becoming a right-sided, left-footed Jack Grealish of sorts.
Yeah, your sort of link, I think you mentioned that he's the person you could liken him to the most was Jack Grealish, because you're trying to look at where he can fit in along those front 3. And one of the things you mentioned was he hasn't got explosive pace like the others. So it's like, where do you fit him in? But I think potentially our formation is going to evolve slightly over the next year, 18 months, 24 months anyway. So but he could just be, he could fit so many different roles there. You've still got like Jota that can come in and help in that front 3. You've got Minamino to drop in as well. So Harvey Elliott he might come on in games late on and play one of the wide roles as the front 3, or we could just switch it up and he plays in just behind where he can pull the strings a little bit, where he doesn't need the explosive pace. You can get the ball into his feet. And if he's got the speed up here where he can see it and just play the ball off, keep the ball ticking, that's going to be a lot more to us than him having pace. So I think without putting too much pressure on him, because he is only 18, there's a lot of expectations forced his way, which hopefully he can live up to it, because there's been many players that have come through youth systems at our club, different clubs, and as soon as they show a little bit of promise, everything is just thrown on them, and then it's a lot of pressure to live up to. But I'm hopeful, good things coming from him, but we'll see.
It's actually a really nice segue into something that we wanted to bring up. Obviously, something we wanted to bring up is a bit of an understatement. I think every single Liverpool fan is frothing at the mouth at this possibility of this news. It's always got to be something about transfers. Saul Niguez. How do I do it, Pete? Niguez. Look, there's all sorts of in the nose coming out now saying, I think I saw him. He was at the airport. I saw him. It was him. I swear.
Do we have the airplane? Do we have the flight tracker out in force yet?
Yeah.
Do we have Twitter doing its thing, tracking limousines and all that?
There are 3 aeroplanes coming in from Spain right now. We're not sure which one Saul is on. It's just like, what?
He's got to be on one of these 3 there. There's only these 3 there. He's probably going to be. Oh, he's probably going to be in one of them. He's wheeling and dealing and all that good stuff.
But anyway, as we talk about, wait, Pete, do you want to give it a try? The accent? No.
I'm not doing.
Niguez. As we talk about right-sided, potentially left-footed centre midfielders, I mean, it's great if Elliott provides this option for us. But going back to that idea, what we were talking about before, where it's we're getting a good look at Harvey. Harvey could still, I mean, for me, Harvey Elliott is like Shaq replacement. Similar height, similar low center of gravity, quick burst of pace, but not anything that's like he can't really sprint 100 meters like Mo Salah can. Hopefully can find a way to curl top corner, get his shooting technique sorted. So he's more of a Shaqiri-esque kind of player. Saul, possibly a Ginny-esque replacement, but again, left-footed, which gives us a lot more, versatility and dynamism in that midfield, because all of our midfielders are mostly right-footed. But also, Pete and I were actually looking at, and I might throw this quickly at you, Pete, we were looking at some Saul stats, and he's actually quite impressive in the defensive third. He's really, really good. There was one strange stat we saw, which is like interceptions around
Here we go. Hold
his
on.
own box. I'm going to share this screen. We're going to use technology right now. We are going to talk about Saul Niguez. I'm going to get rid of this because that's blocking someone's face. But look at this, Pete. We got some technology.
Yeah, well, that's what we do here. That's what we do on the Red Sea down under.
That's what we do, man.
So what do you need, George? What do you need? What do you want to look at?
Can I get stat number 6 million, which is just at the right there? But no, it's basically all signs point to he can be the Ginny replacement that we need, because we do. A lot of people mention that someone needs to replace all the games that Ginny was playing for us. And it's probably unfair to put all of that onto, I mean, it's not unfair, by the way, but it's not wise to put all of that onus, not only on younger midfielders, perhaps like Elliott or Curtis, but on midfielders who literally cannot go the distance, like your Caters and Chamberlain. So a lot of people are crying out for someone like Saul to come in. Some of the stuff that we've seen, Pete, is that not only is he good defensively, but he's also not too bad at bringing the ball forward. He can be creative.
Yeah, so if you look at where did it go before? It was successful dribbles over here. So in most of his games, he's quite high in his dribbles succeeded, right? So he's got 62% here, 50% there, 100, none in these because he probably didn't play. But as he keeps going, if you look down, he's quite good at carrying the ball out. So that's something that Genie did quite well. And if you look at to the next one, in his next column here, Jules 1, again, always quite high. So it's almost like he is a carbon copy of Genie in a way. But for me, I've actually seen him play live a couple of years ago before COVID absolutely ruined everyone's lives. And I always thought that he was better than Koke. And Koke is the one that gets all the attention at Atletico, and you know, he's the next this and he's that. But from my 2 games that I saw them play against, it was Granada and Espanyol. For me, I thought that Saul was a lot better. But then again, you know, I'd rather have Saul than Koke. If you talk about the 2 midfielders over there that everyone kind of raves about, I think he's their best one.
I want to ask you guys. I'll start with you, Nick. I want to hear if have you heard things a lot. What's the dumbest rumor not dumbest rumor? What's the most outrageous rumor you've heard about Saul? Have you been keeping an eye on it, or do you just keep all that stuff away? And would you enjoy seeing? Do you think Liverpool need a player like Saul?
Well, we know with Liverpool's history with Atletico Madrid, when they came and beat us, arguably we probably didn't have the keeper we needed in the Champions League match there. But, you know, he was part of that squad. And we always say that we need the dark arts in football. We always need someone to just slow the game down, be the bastard in the midfield. And Thiago can be that sort of player. Sometimes you do see little inklings in there with him. You probably say Henderson can to an extent, but Saul, no. I first caught wind of rumors just a couple of days ago, and I thought, it's not too bad. 26-year-old, experienced. He, he sort of plays a game that's probably not too terrible. Obviously, our game's very different when it comes to pressing and counter pressing and all that sort of stuff. But coming from the school of hard knocks with Simeone, who knows, might not be a good thing. It's just whether or not we get him or United gets him, because apparently the story is that he's probably got some gentleman's agreement with United now. So we'll have to wait and see what happens there.
Can I just say that's often a good sign. Did we not see Thiago get linked randomly to United?
Yeah, we denied it.
Yeah.
It's basically the exact same as what happened with Thiago last season. We denied it. James Pearce did interviews, nothing happening. Then this Man United rumour sped up, and then within about 48 hours, we were announcing Thiago was signed. So it's sort of following that same process again.
It's kind of like you have like 2 brothers, and like they neither of them want something, and then when one brother says, "Can I have that chocolate bar?" the other one's like, "I want the chocolate bar." And it's like, why? Because they want it. It's kind of like the media, or maybe like the representatives know that, and so they just throw in a rumor to the Manchester United. And Liverpool go, "Oh, we got to quicken this up a little bit." So whenever you see the Man United rumor, it's like maybe you do know that Liverpool are close, because people are trying to play mind games, so to speak.
Well, they've already bought a couple of players already anyway. So, I mean, the only reason you'd probably say Saul is maybe linked because Pogba's future is maybe in doubt as well. Is he going to go to Real Madrid, or is he going to get a PSG? Where's he going to go? Because that's the rumor apparently now. Is he going to hang on? And if he goes, they'll need another midfielder, and he'll probably be the person they're going to try and bring into that squad. But again, they've got Lingard. They spend big money on him. I wonder how much money they've actually got to spend now, because he's going to cost 40 or 50 odd million. And, it's not bad. I mean, is he a better player than Thiago for the money? Because we bought Thiago for a steal, obviously a little bit older, maybe comes with a little bit of a history record of injuries as well. But, for someone in the midfield, you probably want to have someone of his age there. And I'm all for Spanish players in this Liverpool team. We've had some good ones in the past. We've had some crap ones in the past. But, if Saul does make it in there, I'm all for it.
I want to ask very quickly, whoever is inspired to answer this one first, as we kind of wrap up a little bit, just again, the general topic of preseason, is anybody a little bit concerned about the lack of Curtis Jones at all?
See, I was kind of hoping this would be his breakout year because obviously all of us here, we're huge Curtis Jones fans, and I think we saw what he's capable of throughout the year last year. Now, I'm curious to know why, and I agree with you. He was left out completely of the last match, wasn't he? Or in one of the matches that just passed.
No, he played in Hertha, but he was left out of the previous ones. Yeah.
Yeah, so maybe he's preparing him for whatever reason. Maybe he still needs to fix things tactically. Klopp does these weird things where he'll keep a player out for 3 months and all of a sudden he starts for the rest of the year. But I pray that we do see Curtis Jones off the chain this year. Like, just let him go. See, I was hoping that he would be the Genie replacement. I'd hope that we could just throw him in because we've seen that he can do the job, and you're not going to get better without playing anyway. And at his age, it's prime for him. Like, he's ready to go. So I think we should be able to trust him a bit more. And, if we don't get Saul, great. We need him. But if we don't get him, okay, maybe let's give Curtis Jones the chance. And if it doesn't work out, maybe in January, look at it again. But I do think Curtis definitely needs, hopefully, it's his season to break through.
Mm-hmm. And then the final thing, anyone else, Curtis Jones, thoughts, Steve?
Yeah, I'd have liked to have seen him get a few more minutes in preseason because, like Pete just said there, when he was given the opportunities last season in a poor season for us as a club, he didn't let us down. He looked quite impressive in a lot of the games. So it was one of them ones you'd hope that this season he can build on it. So, but we don't know what's going on in the background. Hopefully he'll be getting a lot more minutes and go from there. But I mean, in terms of the midfield, if all midfielders are fit, do we not all think that Thiago, Henderson and Fabinho are going to be like the first choice, or are we expecting someone else to come in and some of them rotate? Because I know all three of them have struggled with injuries in the past. Fabinho is really hard to keep fit for a season, as Pete knows and likes to complain about. Henderson can't complete a season. And then Thiago's a funny one because that was a couple of freak injuries last year, but his injury record, again, if you look back, he's never consistently played season after season. So I would say they're going to be the main three, but we're going to need other people to come in. But yeah, back to that, I would like to see Curtis Jones get some more time and just take it to another level this season.
With
Speaking
that,
of players who need... Oh, go on. Sorry.
So I was going to say we've got the veteran James Milner as well in the squad there, who's normally been the player to be put in there when it comes to certain matches against certain teams. So do you think Klopp will still have an inkling to maybe throw him in against like a Manchester City or something like that when you need to have a bit of rough and tough in the middle of the pitch though?
I wouldn't be surprised if he starts the season. It's just
I love how Pete says it with like almost a tear in his eye.
It's like I love James Milner. I love James Milner, the professional, but we can't be looking at him starting, games for us. We're trying to chase a title and break this Manchester City dominance. It's just.
Is anyone else, by the way, frustrated when people say who we got as fullback options, and like there's this massive James Milner like shaped answer staring you right in the face? Yeah. Is he like, how good is he when he plays fullback? And I mean, this like when our fullbacks are on the field and it's Robertson and Trent, yes, I care a lot about fullbacks. But when one of them's out and we put James Milner there, who cares? Like, as long as one of them's on the field, who cares? Like, he gets back defense and he does that weird slow step over that beats like six players. They're all going their ass. Uses his face to control the ball. Like he does the job. Like I'm happy with you as a fullback option, by the way. And
that's about it. Yeah, that's for me. That's fine, but stay there because we need Curtis Jones to be playing minutes. And I know that we're going to bring him up. We have to bring him up because at the moment he's setting the Twitter fan base on fire. But Naby Keita, the cardboard man.
Yes.
So how long till he gets injured?
Probably in our next game.
5 minutes into the season, pulls up with an injury or something.
He'll make it to the Norwich game and he'll do about 5-10 minutes and then just disappear for about 3 months.
Dude, Keita did what? Dude, does any player, by the way, just going on the whole thing about step overs, does any center midfielder like complete and successfully go past their man with a quicker step over than Naby Keita? It is lovely to watch. It's almost like I want to give his ability to step over to someone else because it's kind of wasted on him because he does it and then like it's like, bro, if you can do that, he could rip 6 players to shreds if you want. I'm baffled.
I'll admit he's been good this preseason, and I've been a huge critic of his. Obviously, because we've had him for 10 years and he's played 4 games. But it's like he done that. There was a massive like highlight reel where he's done a massive step over. The guy's gone one way and he's turned and gone the other way. And they've only shown the step over though. But they've only shown that one.
Yeah,
but his next action, he gave the ball away.
Yeah.
So like it's like
they cut the clip quickly.
It's like show the whole thing, please, because
So fake news. Okay.
Need context on this.
it's just like, come on, man. But look, like I said, he's looking great in preseason, and I can't believe knock on wood that it's been 4 games and he hasn't pulled something, and it's great because we do need our players to be at their best. If we're going to try and beat this Manchester City squad again, and we need all of them fit, not just 1 or 2. We need all of them to stay as fit as possible. And Naby Keita can be in his 6th season, his breakout season.
He's still getting used to the team. He's still getting used to the tactics and everything. Give him a minute.
Yeah.
Give him a minute.
It's like a new signing. Finally, just you say there about breakout seasons and players impressing in preseason. What do we say about this bloke? We've got Kostas Tsimikas. He's been playing well. He kind of, it's a lot of people fail to recognize just how hard it is to move to a new country, especially, by the way, Pete, you and I know this from when we visit Liverpool. I'm sure Steve also knows, and Nick, for when, you kept your eye on the city or when you've ever gone to the city. But bro, like the sun rises at like 10 a.m. and then it sets at 12 p.m. Like if you're a Greek coming into that city, you get 2 hours of sunlight, you get COVID, then you get an injury. Like far out, you'd be depressed, Like,
and don't forget, he's used to eating fresh produce food, unbelievable meats. He's used to eating all that kind of stuff.
Straight from the backyard, cold water, fresh spring water.
Come on, man. You can't
with Brexit, you can't get access to Greek olive oil anymore. Then.
No.
You can't get access to Greek food.
Needs the Kalamata olives.
I've been to the Greek restaurant in Liverpool, and it's actually pretty good, by the way, in terms of standards. It's very good. But it's
Greeks as well.
But it's not Greece. Do you know what I mean? It's not, and the next best thing after that is Nando's. So if you can't,
let's go for chicken Nando's. Chicken Nando's, yeah.
He can't. So you're gonna say that takes adapting too. He's had to move his grandmother over, I'm sure, just so she can cook stuff because they're all attached to it, right? But it's
I want to see.
Yaya's coming over to cook him food every meal, every game.
But he has been good in preseason, and I think that given the fact that Robertson plays 6,000 minutes, a week for us, it's like he's had a good start. Right? So he's got 2 assists, I think, already in the games that he's played. He's looked good getting up and down. Defensively, okay, he needs to fix 1 or 2 things because he's always too eager to win the ball, and that could be just trying to impress Klopp, trying to impress the coaching staff,
Very
and it happens
in that sense.
Yeah, but it happens, right? And it's something that it's showing that his intent. I'd rather him try and win the ball, try to make the tackles, and then make the mistake rather than not doing them because he's scared to make a mistake. If that makes sense, I rather like I love the fact that he's showing this intent, that he's showing that he is good enough to play and start for us. And to be honest with you, from what I've seen so far, why not?
Lads, impressed with Tsimikas? Steve, good enough?
Yeah.
I mean, fullbacks, who cares about fullbacks?
You've got James Milner.
We've got James Milner.
I mentioned him earlier. I think he's looked good. He didn't really get a chance at all last season, and when he did come in, didn't really get enough time. And at the end of
seconds.
Yeah, exactly. Did you not? At the end of the season, though, he looked like bloody half dead. He looked like really. He looked. You'd look at him when we signed him, and then by the end of the season, he was like pale, gaunt, and everything. And then he came back from pre-season.
2 hours of sunlight. There's only 2 hours of sunlight in Liverpool. Man. He's depressed.
And it's because he couldn't get his flat
He can't see.
he couldn't get the frappe in the morning, and he was asleep half the time. It's just how it is.
Couldn't get his Nescafe. Didn't get his Nescafe in the morning.
Mate,
That's
I'm the
what it was.
same. I'm the same. I'm the same.
He needs his Galactoburico.
Oh,
There we go.
don't.
Beautiful. Lovely
Yeah.
pronunciation there as well there, Nick. Beautiful.
Alright.
From a fellow
we just
Griezmann,
got...
Nick.
We've got some... Nick, you got some fans in here. We've got another one. Look at this.
Stoss. Come on, Stoss. All the boys from the RBB. How are you, fellas? Banana as well. Stoss. They're good lads. They're good lads.
But we got James here saying availability is the best ability. So I think that's probably that's probably been said about Keita. But if that's also been said in terms of Thiago, in terms of Tsimikas, then yeah, if they're available, then that's when they can be the best for us.
We forgot to mention Kanate as well, who's come into the squad.
Looks good. He does
Like-
that Van Dijk thing where he races to the player and then just kind of.
He's a unit, man. He is a unit. I saw a photo of him side by side with Van Dijk, and I just went, I thought Van
Yeah, it's
Dijk
just like-
was huge, man.
It's just like this guy that walks into training like, yeah, it's like far out.
Did you not see the picture of him and Robbo wearing the bathrobes?
Yeah.
Yes.
And they're both the same size, and it'd be like me stood next to probably Pete in the
Like,
same
dude,
size bathrobes.
Not to take on too much time, but like we were talking about the fullbacks and all that sort of stuff. There, we know Gomez played fullback and probably wasn't the best though. But if you have Konate, would you have him side by side with Van Dijk if he's fully fit and ready to go, or do you still play Gomez alongside Van Dijk?
Very quickly, if I might just answer that, I would just say Kanate Van Dijk, because to be honest, I'm sick of the injuries to the other two. I'm seriously sick of it. It's like probably a controversial thing to say, but like I was over it last year because Pete, you and I were saying it, and I love Gomez. And by the way, no one loves Joe Gomez more than Pete. And you know, it's unfortunate to say, and it kills me to say it, but it's been since day one. He's had injuries with us since day one. And it's disappointing, but he can be a great, like I would say it's Van Dijk, Gomez are our best partnership. Matip is still very, very impressive for us. But if Konate, if he can come in and cement his role there and not get injured, I think the other two need to just look at themselves and just go, well, look, we're not fit most of the time. If those two are our best centre backs, I wouldn't change them. Konate and Van Dijk. That's just me.
It hurts. It hurts because I have to agree. And I think that you'll see that Konate and Matip will start the season as the two centre backs. But like, because obviously the other two can't, and we're not, Nat Phillips is not going to start. Yeah. So you'll see it'll be Matip and Konate, and Matip will get hurt in the 50th minute anyway. But I agree with George. I think with Konate,
he'll hurt his toenail.
Yeah. He got ingrown somewhere and he's out for 6 weeks. But like it's like with Konate's pace and presence to be that big and that fast, it's just alone, it's scary. So if I'm one of these strikers and I see this man mounted next to me going, Jesus, I've got to get around him. And then next to him is Van Dijk. Like it psychologically, it's actually really nice to have the both of them side by side. But it's I do agree with George, and it's sad to admit, but if Joe Gomez can just get the ball rolling and get some consistency, I still think he's our best partnership with Van Dijk because they just have this awesome brotherly like understanding. But just like but no, I do agree. But it should be Konate and Van Dijk for sure.
What I love about Konate as well, for all those who play FIFA, bro, if he's 6'5" and he's like 85 sprint speed, put him anywhere on the field, man. Do a job for you. That's it. Sorted. Liverpool will be sorted for years. That's all I care about. Yeah.
What I pray to God doesn't happen is that Konate comes in and Gomez is the right backup.
Yeah, no, I don't like that either.
That's what I was saying. That's what I was getting at.
Unless
that would hurt.
It's that thing that we saw where when Gomez plays right back, what happens is you get someone like a Henderson that actually acts as an auxiliary right wing back as part of the midfield. And remember we had that thing. Oh, bro, we had a whiteboard. We need to get a whiteboard somewhere. But remember, we usually have our two centre backs and our two fullbacks like that. But what happened was when Robertson's up, going up, what's the left for you guys? Left is there. The two centre backs, you get the third centre back sitting back, which is going to be Joe Gomez, acts like a three at the back instead of your your defensive midfielder dropping in. I didn't mind that. It only happened once or twice, and then Gomez kind of got injured, and then we didn't see it again. But it's the idea of maybe that's how you push. Didn't we actually see maybe Trent gets sometimes pushed up a little bit forward if that happens? But regardless, it was a guarding against the counterattack, and it allows the high line to sit even higher because you've got 3 center backs back there instead of just the 2, and they're getting overloaded. So I didn't mind Gomez at right back when he wasn't like going down the wing like a freaking, like a winger or something like that, like high-paced fullback. But when Gomez sat in that 3, it almost looked like a 3 at the back, which, by the way, Pep Guardiola has done that to reinvent Manchester City. And Pete, you and I have been chatting about that off air, about how Klopp needs to reinvent this Liverpool side somehow. And 3 at the back is something that a lot of people have tried. And that's the closest Klopp got to 3 at the back, was when he played a very defensive fullback in Gomez.
And not to mention, they're the 3 probably the fastest centre backs to have in those positions, between Gomez,
absolutely.
Konate, and Van Dijk, which is obviously something that does prevent counterattacks, his pace. But I don't know, Steve, you've been watching most of the preseason, right, on LFC TV as well?
Yep.
Yeah, and the training. Do you watch inside training as well?
I haven't watched too much of that, to be honest. I've not been in lockdown like you guys. I've been busy out and working.
I've just been smashing LFC TV. That's all I've been doing. But if you look at that, like Klopp's always said, I don't have a plan B. I'll make plan A better. And during the training sessions, from one thing I've noticed anyway, because I like to get ideas, and from what I do on LFC TV as well, because all the coaches are thieves. Don't let them tell you they make it up. Every coach is a thief. But it looks like we're just still working on our counterattacks a lot more. It still looks like a lot of our training sessions have been based on counterattack pressing. So going to what George was saying, I don't think we're going to see much of a tactical change, which is not concerning, but it's something that I feel like I wish we would see, or wish we end up seeing. What do you reckon?
Right. Yeah, no, it's I think we've always talked about. Look at this. Actually, this is perfect. This is perfect timing. We've got a comment here. 3 at the back is definitely something we should try out. Pete, we've heard Klopp say that in the past, where he doesn't usually want to change too much. He just figures out ways to make the system that he's got work in different ways. Like we just said there, he's still going to play 4-3-3, but if he's playing Gomez at the back, it's an augmented 3 at the back. But it means he doesn't have to play the 3 centre backs, and then everyone kind of knows it. I mean, even when he plays his fullbacks, they're not really acting as fullbacks. Andy Robertson, I say all the time, he's our left winger, and Trent operates as a deeper fullback for us. So, what I do love, though, what Pete said there is about the inside training. We're seeing the counterattacks being worked on. So maybe that's something like Pete said, we're just the same system, but we're going to be using it a bit differently. Hopefully that's what we're doing, because Liverpool do need to learn how to counterpunch again, because we learned so much how to counterpunch at the beginning of Klopp's reign. Then we got really good, and then we forgot how to hit teams on the counter. And then in the last season, when teams started coming at us a little bit and hitting us while we were down, all we had to do was counterpunch, and we kind of forgot that part of our game. So I think we're going back to basics a bit with that, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and it's actually the first proper preseason we've had for a couple of years, because last season's one was really short because of the COVID break and everything. So it's not trying to reinvent the wheel, but get the basics back that were so much of our strengths in previous years. Like you said, early years of Klopp, that counter-attack was such a weapon. You go back to the year that we got to the Champions League final but lost to Madrid. Some of that counter-attack in play we put together in those games was phenomenal, but it just disappeared from our game. The year we won the league, we didn't play on the counter-attack. We just dominated teams and sat back and controlled it. And then last season, like you said, when we were under pressure, all we needed was that attacking ability on the break, and it just didn't happen. So to go back, spend a good few weeks on the preseason field, obviously it's a bit stop-start because players are just coming back now. Like the Brazilian lads got back yesterday, like Nick said. We're still waiting on, I think it's just Henderson to come back now as well, isn't it?
He gets the longest rest, I think. Yeah, Klopp was saying it.
Hanging out with Sturridge, wherever he's at.
Yeah, I saw that. He was training at Sturridge's club, wasn't he? Wherever he's gone to.
Mallorca.
That's it. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah, so we are basically going back to basics, but I don't see that as a bad thing because what we've done has worked. But we do need a few more approaches to games, but we'll see. We can't judge it too much until the season starts.
I want to throw this question to anybody. We've just got a comment coming on YouTube from TS. Are you guys worried that we've only bought Kanate so far?
I'll start. I think yes, and I think we do need someone up front to bring in. Not so much in the midfield. I know everyone's talking about midfield area, but I think we have enough to cover the midfield area, like with Ox and Curtis Jones and hopefully Harvey Elliott's development and hopefully a fit Cater. So I think there is enough there in the middle. I just definitely think that we need someone up front 100%. And I think the Red Sea podcast has made more signings than Liverpool at the moment by signing us for. So it's one of them ones, right?
Nick.
Yeah, I'd like to see a couple more players maybe come in. Like as we said, we know we needed a centre back because, well, and let's be real here. Last season with the injuries that we had, freak occurrences, that doesn't happen very, very often to any football team, let alone Liverpool FC. So that's probably the one in the 10 years that you're going to get. And this upcoming season, everyone's going to be fit. You might have one or two players that are out here or there, perhaps maybe with some injuries, but for the most part, you should still have your strongest starting 11. And again, if your centre backs can remain fit, or if you can have a fit Van Dijk and Konate, that's how you pronounce his name. I'll leave the pronunciations to the expert on the top left of the screen there. Or a Gomez, perhaps. A defensive pairing is important. Gomez. Sorry, I forgot. He's a Spanish Englishman. Yeah, so if you have your strongest defensive pairing there, that bodes well. A strong midfield, and maybe not having Ginny there might take some getting used to for the first maybe a couple of games, because you're normally used to seeing Ginny start a game or come in and do a job. But as Pete said, if you see Jones come in there, or if you probably see a Chamberlain take cover, I think we should be okay. But yeah, maybe just one more person up front. But we do have Jota. We've got Minamino. If they can stay fit and find their strides as well, there's at least 10 goals, between them, if not, more this season just from the supplementaries in the front line.
Divock.
Hold on.
Someone had to. Someone had to.
Just for that. Pete, when did you say Liverpool legend? I think you've gone a bit far there, Pete. What's this quote I found? If it's on the screen, it's real. It's
on the internet. When it's on the
news.
internet, it's 100% legit if it's online. Pete,
Can we
comment?
go back to the question? Can we go back to the question that Scousers in London asked instead of this shit that you put up?
Can someone on the Twitter or the YouTube ask the question, is Origi a Liverpool legend? Because then I can officially put the question to Pete. But for now, we're going to stick with this one. The reason why I actually want to bring this up, can we rely on Ox and Cage? And I think that's maybe, I don't know, I'm not sure if Divock has come into that equation. But the thing I wanted to say, it's echoing what you were saying there, Nick, when you said, we've got all of these players in these positions, and we've got backups everywhere. Despite all of that, I think someone did say, can we rely on Cater? Actually, we've not only got Scouts in London Centre,
yeah.
Someone also here in the live broadcast said it. It's just like, for this season, and I said this when we won the league, by the way, just before we won the league, Pete, when we were doing our LFC Couch podcast, I just said, do what Ferguson did. Lie to the players, tell them they're playing, and sit them on the bench. It's simple, okay? I'm sorry. Get the
and win the league,
and just win the league. That's it. Just get another one. Get number 20, and just because we did that in that season when people were saying, let's get rid of Lovren and Lallana and stuff. I go, Lallana's not going to play. Keep him on the bench. And what did he do? He scored that one goal against United. Did we draw?
United, correct?
Yeah, at Old Trafford, 1-0.
The bench. Yep.
And it's just like, there it is. How many times did we see Ji-Sun Park come on and do that shit, and John O'Shea doing that bullshit for United,
and Berbatov and all of them were doing it. Yeah,
Makeda, Berbatov invented a FIFA move on the freaking goal line, scored 4 goals or something against us, 3 goals. Just for Ox and Cater, maybe we do need other players to add to that, but add players on top of who we've got, like Scouts in London says. Can we rely on Ox and Cater? No. So let's get another player on top of that, because just for this season, last season we got screwed, and COVID is making everything harder with game times and lack of crowd, and you don't get that adrenaline rush. Just have an overload of players. I know Klopp doesn't like using a big squad. Have an overload, win the league. And when we're not in COVID, we buy Mbappe, we buy Jude Bellingham, we get the new Gerrard, we get the new bloody Messi, Ronaldo, whatever. And we get dominance for the next 3 years. How does that sound, guys?
Like it. Sign it off. Let's go.
If
One
we could
player
buy,
each.
okay, I reckon this is a good question to end on. I think we might end on this because we're supposed to do 40 minutes. We've gone up to 54. We started getting the questions in at the end, so we wanted to extend the stream here. But I reckon we'll go through everybody. If we could buy one player each for this transfer window, who would it be? Name one player. I'm going to start by saying the one that I want, and it's never going to happen. But we never said one realistic player, so I'm going to say Jude Bellingham. I want him. I think he's Steven Gerrard in the making. He said his favorite player, his two favorite players ever are Steven Gerrard and Wayne Rooney. So yeah, I think the way he plays, his height, his physicality, it just looks like an 18-year-old Gerrard. Just that desire to just beat people in the middle of the park, get in and around the box. Love him. That's the player I would want. Maybe you have to get him next season.
I need to think about it. I need to go last, please.
Go for last. Okay, Nick, one player. No, Steve, one player.
I'm going to go
Actually,
left
I've got it,
field. We haven't mentioned him, and it was a bit of a link came up about 6 to 8 months ago, but he had a good Euros. I'm going to go a bit left field with Renato Sanchez.
Interesting.
Get him in there.
Okay,
Nice.
yeah.
Getting out of tight situations, very Ginny.
Yep, go with that. And he's had a good season. I mean, he had a great Euros for Portugal a few years ago, and then he got that big move to Bayern Munich, and then flopped and ended up at Swansea, and it was shocking there. And then, but he's had a good season in France and won the league there, and he had a good Euros. I think, why not? Let's go for him. I mean, the obvious one you could say is get Saul, get Mbappe, get these players, but let's just go for something different. The Sanchez link has been there, and the more I've watched him since, I actually think he'd be a good signing for us.
Yeah. What I like about Sanchez is it's that drop of the shoulder, that like Coutinho-esque, and then just hitting the ball as hard as he can. Who was it against? Was it Italy that he hits that ball, or is it the game before, maybe Belgium? Just that rocket that hits the bar. Is an incredible shot that he.
I can't remember which game that was.
But it was just like, where did that come from? That was just pure power. So I love play. We just need a center midfielder that can shoot. But go on, Pete. You got a player.
Yeah, I can't believe it took me time to think about this. It's the Norwegian Terminator, Haaland.
Haaland. Lovely.
Yeah, that's
so
if we get Haaland, that's it. Yeah, like that's what we need.
By the way, has everyone seen the news in the last couple of days that Solskjaer signing a deal at Man United they think will help secure the signing of Haaland?
No, fuck off.
Wow.
Apparently.
Wow. Right,
no, but that's
put him on 10 years. Keep signing contracts, guys. It's brilliant. Keep him signing contracts.
I'd break the bank for Haaland, 100 million, like whatever they cost. Yeah, no problem. Take it because he's an animal, absolute animal.
He's good. Nick, one player.
Going off what Steve said there with the Euro trend, I'm thinking who else had a good Euros? I don't know if they'd fit the system or not, but if we needed someone to play winger or maybe a wing back of sorts, perhaps maybe Federico Chiesa. I thought he was decent in there. So like scored some good goals, got forward quite a fair few times, and he actually looked pretty decent, man. I mean, he's got a good pedigree coming from a background of a former professional footballer and his father himself. So I'd like Chiesa, throw him in on the wing or something.
Well, I'll tell you what, we signed each of our players. We're going to have Bellingham in the midfield. We're going to have Chiesa on the wing. We're going to have Sanchez coming in off the left of midfield as centre mid, Gini replacement. And then we're going to have, what's his name? Haaland up front. That sounds like one hell of a summer for Liverpool. And then we've got Serhat Tez saying United trying to find their new Howard Webb to help them out.
Shout out to Serhat. I know Serhat personally. Shout out to you, good sir. Thank you for watching.
Ryan Babel.
Right.
Ryan Babel tweet.
Oh, yeah, this guy.
The Ryan Babel tweet.
The Ryan Babel tweet. But guys, look, the last thing I just want to do is always say to everybody, subscribe to the YouTube channel, Red Sea Podcast, or Red Sea Podcast on YouTube. That way that you can get all the live shows and watch them, comment, interact with us, and also get on the socials on Twitter. We are Red Sea Down Under, but you can also get Red Sea Podcast and find us through there. So please like and subscribe. But hopefully you've enjoyed the Red Sea Down Under. We've got hopefully some Aussies who have come on the show here in the comments and in the views. And yeah, we're looking forward to bringing some new content. Guys, Nick, Steve, Pete, it's been great. You guys had fun tonight?
Yeah, it's been good to get back on
very
it.
much. Yes.
Absolutely. And now we go and watch the Matildas. Hopefully get a chance to get a gold medal, right?
Semi-finals, yeah?
Semi-finals,
Quarters.
that's the one.
Quarters.
Quarters, yep.
Quarterfinals.
Cool. Done.
Oh, is it
Let's do
quarters? I thought
I
it was
believe
semi.
so.
No, they
They just
quarters-
beat
quarters
Great
was against
Britain.
Great Britain. in the
Great Britain.
quarters.
Yeah, so now it's
Semis.
The semis.
Semis. This is the chance for a gold medal. Yeah. The chance to get a gold medal. So it has to be semis to go into the finals. We'll see how they
Perfect.
go. Beautiful.
Beauty.
All right, guys. Thanks so
Rocket.
much for watching. We'll be back with some content soon. And yeah, we up the Reds and see you guys later.